This was a really long episode. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 10, Cuts the Both Ways. Nope. Cuts both ways. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share on any social media platform you deem fit. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Okay, let's jump right into this episode. First couple that we're going to talk about is Ash and Avery. Wow, this episode was so telling about Ash. I knew that there was something up with him, and so did Avery, but now we all see that he is just a sexist who has no idea about the spectrum of gender roles, or masculine and feminine energies. I mean, this man is so ignorant. How does a man who wears pants as tight as him not understand a woman's point of view? First, we start off with them leaving Cairns or wherever it is that they are. They're headed to the airport from their like little mini vacation, going back to Melbourne, because that is the way that it is spelled. But apparently Ash is like, it's Melbourne. We pronounce it Melbourne. And I'm like, first of all, Ash, you don't even have an Australian accent. You are not Australian. You know what pisses me off about the Australian segments is that in both segments, they always are playing some kind of didgeridoo or Aboriginal music. And I'm just like, can you please leave the Aborigine alone? Can you please play us some authentic white Australian music and stop trying to co-opt the Aboriginal culture for these segments? It's so annoying. That would be like every time they shot something in America, they started playing like Native American music. That's exactly what it's like. White people came to their land, forced them to be second-class citizens, moved them out into the fucking bush, and Australia even took it to another level. Australia would go in and take Aboriginal children who are light enough to pass as white, basically telling their families, like, look, we know we're racist, and so here's how we're gonna help you. They would go in and take light-skinned Aboriginal children and indoctrinate them into white society, basically tell them to forget about their Aboriginal side because they would be better off like integrating into white society. Why don't they play music from Ash's native country? Can we please leave the natives alone? They didn't ask to be a part of your fuckery. He tells her that he has a seminar at 10 the next day. She wants to go with him just to see how he interacts with his female clients. So they get to the seminar place. They have his name written on a fucking piece of paper, basically. So Ash gets in there. There's 7 women. They all are like, okay, well, we're okay with being on TV and we want to see what this guy has to say. I guess he's a relationship coach and so he must know something. So Avery sits in the back and she's listening to him talk, and all of a sudden he just starts talking about feminine and masculine energies and how women have feminine energies and men have masculine energies, and there's different boxes in the brain and women think differently. And I'm just like, is this a women are from Venus and men are from Mars type situation? Are you serious? That is old. It is so sexist. Avery's embarrassed. Every woman there is embarrassed. He gets so like flustered with the questions that he's being asked that he leaves, and he's like, oh man, I feel like I'm fucking up. And Avery's like, yeah, you are. But like, let's regroup. Just talk about the love languages. And so we think like, okay, he's just gonna go in and talk about love language. How hard could that be? There's no gender with that. It's person to person. So he goes back in and he's like, ladies, let's talk about love languages. And they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna revamp with you. It'll be fine. And he goes, women, it's up to you to figure out the man's love language. And the women are like, well, why can't a man know his own love language? Well, men don't think like that. Men are not emotional. So it's up to the woman to figure out the man's love language and to then tell him what her love language is. And then he loses the audience again, and Avery's just like, is this the person that I want to be with? I can't even believe that this is what's transpiring right now. Does he really believe all of this? Right afterwards, they're walking down, I guess on the beach side, and she tries to talk to him about it, to like have a like little moment where they reflect, and she tries to enlighten him on what went wrong, and he is so defensive. basically telling her, the cameras, and everybody that he's the expert. I'm just like, are you not even considering gay people, transgender people, non-binary people, like non-gender conforming people? Is he just so... I really wanted her to ask him, like, what about gay men? And see what he said. I just really wanted him to say something ridiculous and homophobic, because then she would know at that point that she needs to walk away. Seattle is so liberal. Seattle is at the forefront of the liberal movement on the West Coast, okay? It's Vancouver, it's Seattle, Portland, Oregon, then it's San Francisco, then it's LA. Those are the hot spots. It was just really disappointing. He didn't even want to talk to her about it. He just kept walking away from her as she tried to explain how she was feeling, and he was just like, no, I'm the professional. This is the way it is. It's scientifically proven. What are you talking about? Who cares how people feel? All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about, let's just go ahead and stay in Australia, is Lips and Boobs. Lips and Boobs decide to go to a botanical garden, which actually looks like a desert. When I think of botanical gardens, I know like botany is like all plants, but I just wanted to see like one blooming plant. It just looked so sad. It's like wanting to go to a private zoo and thinking you're gonna see something beautiful and lush like Doc Antle's zoo or even Joe Exotic's zoo. But no, you get there and it's the big cat rescue and it just looks real sad and like no animal wants to be there. They had a conversation in which they both forgave each other and decided that they were just gonna move on and try to do better. Boobs apologized. Lips brought up some very good points that Boobs could not deny was in fact the truth. And then they went on a second date in which they threw boomerangs. So there's their relationship. I suppose next episode we're gonna see them come out to their families. Oh, they went snorkeling as well, but I literally fast forward through that because I just didn't care. Was it me or was this episode not like 3 hours long? This was a really long episode. It was too long. Too much of not interesting things. Speaking of not interesting, let's move on to Vario and Jeffrey. Sometimes I don't know if I should like make comments about the comments that are made or should I just ignore them and let them happen. But I got a couple of really disturbing comments about my not being as upset or no, how can I say this? So no matter what anybody says out there because I'm American or not American or whatever, the fact that Jeffrey had only been to federal prison for 2.5 years in his 20s, I'm not gonna be worried about his 2.5 years for selling drugs. It's just me. I don't represent all Americans. I don't represent all Black Americans, okay? As a Black woman, I'm aware that our men get put in jail like 10 times more than any other man. And I'm not saying Jeffrey is Black, right? I'm also not negating or not remembering the fact that Jeffrey has a long history of other bullshit. What I'm saying is, from Vario's standpoint, all she knows is that this man has been to jail for 2.5 years for selling drugs. And for me, if I were her, with my background and my knowledge, I wouldn't have freaked out as much. For me, and a lot of Black women I know, not all and not every Black American woman, you sometimes have to recognize that our Black men are going to have been in jail. First of all, no Black man is just going to jail for only 2.5 years for selling drugs. The amount of drugs and the kind of drugs that Jeffrey was selling, a Black man would have got 10 years. But let me just say that that's what happens in the US. People get thrown in jail in the US for big things, little things, it doesn't matter. It depends on their lawyer. It depends on their counsel. So for me to be that worried about something that someone did 10 years ago where they got put in jail, like, I'm gonna go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are a different and hopefully better person since the choices and the mistakes they made as a youth or as somebody in their 20s. That is my personal opinion. And I don't appreciate anybody coming down into the comment section making sweeping declarations about Black Americans. It may be different in your country and that is fine. Your opinion is your opinion and it's allowed to be that exactly as mine is. But don't come in my comment section talking about Black men and Black women in America like we're some case study. Google some shit before you come in my comment section. All right, back to my regularly scheduled program. Is my eyelash coming off? Hopefully not. We're hot off the heels of Jeffrey telling her family that he went to prison and they are just all upset. And Vario doesn't know how to feel about it either. She says that she didn't even tell Jeffrey all of the things that her mother said in Russian. So they are getting ready. They're leaving. Mama is very upset because this is the first time I think Vario has been back home in a while and she lives very far from her mother. So she came back to see her mother with a lot of baggage, literally and figuratively. So they go camping with his friend Igor. Igor is a joy, really. I mean, he's got a lot of good energy. He's wrong about his friend, saying that his friend is a great guy and he's an awesome person, because Jeffrey is not. But he's got a lot of great energy. Igor doesn't know Jeffrey that much. Igor doesn't speak that much English. Also, they met on vacation in Mexico. So him knowing vacation Jeffrey, talking to Jeffrey through like FaceTime or WhatsApp or whatever, is not really Igor knowing Jeffrey. So anyways, he went to go poop in the forest so that they could have a conversation about him while he wasn't there. And Vario says that she's still thinking about what she wants to do about knowing his past. And all I keep thinking about is I just wish that Vario would lighten her hair. Her roots are a light brown. We can see it. This part is black. It makes her look old. Like, I just want her hair to be blonde or like lighter. I just want to see it. It doesn't, maybe it could be like blonde with like, I don't know about people. Okay. I don't know about pale skin and how hair looks, but I just want her hair to be lighter. So that's where we leave it. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Usman and Dr. Baby Girl Visa. Okay, so where we left off last time, and what I didn't talk about in the last episode, is that Lisa and Usman go to the mosque to show mommy, and I hate the fact that Lisa calls that man's mother mommy. That's not your mommy. Lisa thinks that going to the mosque is going to win some sort of favor with Usman's mother. And I find it so interesting because Lisa to me doesn't seem like a deep Christian. She just seems like a surface Christian. Like, I can't even imagine that she goes to church every Sunday. What is it with like Christians acting like partaking or understanding or learning about Islam is so terrible that they're putting aside their religion to step into another religion, or to go, like, girl, you're going into a house of worship. Regardless of what church it is, the moment you step into anybody's temple, synagogue, or mosque, you just have reverence and respect. Like, I don't understand. What are you talking about? If she were to like go on a trip to Japan or Laos or Thailand or China, and there was an opportunity to go into a temple, you wouldn't go because you would have to put your religion aside to do so? Like, I don't understand this like Islamophobia. I really, really don't. She made it seem like it was such a big deal for her to put a hijab on her head, girl, sit next to mommy, come up and down, and then the girl didn't have any prayer beads, and she's over there yelling in the mosque, talking about Usman don't have, like, shh, be quiet. This is how I know this woman don't even go to church. She don't even go to Christian church. She don't even step into her non-denominational whatever hootsie what's a church. Girl, calm down. People go into the Vatican every day. They ask mom for this is an angry recap. So they ask the mother for permission one more time to get married, and she says, no, Lisa is not your mate. She's too old, okay? 3 days later, they decide they're gonna try again. This time they get there, and Usman is talking to his mother, and Lisa is her absolute shitty little self sitting next to him. Mother's like, I'm gonna need some more time to think about it. He translates that to Lisa, and Lisa's like, well, that's a problem because we don't have any more time. Lisa, if you don't stop being disrespectful in this woman's house, baby girl Visa needs to sit back. I'm sorry, Dr. Baby girl Visa needs to sit back and learn some manners. Girl, she doesn't even crack a smile at that mom until the mom finally agrees that they can get married. And the mother's just like, look, I finally said yes because I guess they really love each other or whatever. Next scene is Mohamed and Usman going to look for a ring for Lisa, and Usman is out of his depth. He does not know how to choose a plain, simple ring, because he's like, Nigerian women like flashy, classy jewelry. And I'm like, flashy and classy from the American standpoint do not belong in the same category. And girl, he ends up spending more on the ring than he does on that goat. 70,000 naira, which is like 194 US dollars. Usman got a little money tucked away. I mean, I don't know if she helped him purchase that ring, because later on, they have a scene where at the side of the road and they're purchasing fruit, and she wants to try some different kinds of fruit, and he dips into her wallet to pay for it. The change that he gets, he puts it back in his own pocket, and I'm just like, yo, did he just like unnecessarily give him a large bill so the man can make change and Usman could just pocket the change? That's shady. Usman's like, I think Lisa's gonna complain about the ring because she complains about everything. So Usman decides that he's gonna have a very serious conversation with Lisa, because he wants her to know that if they get married as a Hausa man, he is going to be the one that is dominant. She is not going to tell him what to do. First of all, I don't like this nasty ass fruit. Secondly, I'm not a dog. And Usman is like, look, you can suggest things to me if we get married, but you are not going to be the end all and be all in this marriage, okay? And she gets upset and gets up and walks off. Where she is going, because supposedly this child is scared to be walking around in Nigeria, I do not know. But she gets up and flips him the bird and keeps walking and is saying that she's not going to adhere to that. He's not going to treat her this way. But I was like, okay, so basically when you're treating him like that, it's okay. But if he tells you he doesn't want that, you're not okay with that. I'm telling you, Lisa went and found an international man who was younger than her so she can run him, so she could feel good in her life, because that last relationship and probably every relationship she's been in, men have run her over. So Dr. Baby Girl Visa is getting on my everlasting nerves. I mean, she's been on my nerves, but this time she's like real on my nerves. You know, Nigerian women, you might be able to run over and tell what to do, but not American women. And I'm like, no. There are American women who get run over all the time by their partner. It has nothing to do with nationality and everything to do with the woman. You can't tell me what to do. You can only advise me. I was like, Usman, okay, stop trying to make it seem like Nigerian women are that way as well. Because your mother doesn't seem like that kind of person. Your sister doesn't seem like that kind of person. All the women in your whole entire family told you wasn't about to get married. So you just don't want Lisa to run you over, and I understand that. Ooh, on the 90-Day Fiancé streets, girl. Look it up on Instagram, but I saw a video of Usman talking to Angela Yee and two other women I do not know about 90-Day Fiancé and why he chose to marry Lisa. It's a lot of tea. I mean, he kind of makes himself seem like the reason why he married her, like, makes sense, but at the same time, you're just like, oh, you're still scamming, Soulja Boy. You're a scammer. It's okay. We get it. Anyway, so that's the end of the segment with Dr. Baby Girl Visa. So the next person we're going to talk about is Dum Dum David. All right, so Dum Dum David is in the stairwell of the projects and he's trying to figure out whether or not he's going to knock on that door and what he's going to do, and he decides to do it. And this older gentleman opens the door, and it's a lot of confusion because the older gentleman has obviously agreed to be on this show because he's all mic'd up and he's not looking directly at the camera, confused, but he doesn't know who David is or what David wants. So he shows a picture, he says it in Ukrainian, like, does this person live here? And the man is like, nah, I've lived here since 1995 and I don't know who that person is. There's nobody in my family that looks like that. There's nobody in this building that looks like that. Like, you got the wrong door, bro. David is just looking at this man. He doesn't know what to say or what to do. His whole entire being has been deflated and he's just like, yo, to the end of the road, and I can't let go. It's impossible that she lied to me. You're sure she doesn't live here? Oh! So he leaves the projects, he's walking in the parking lot, he's real confused, and the guy is like, you know what, I really feel bad for these American men because a lot of our women do this to American men. I mean, I don't even know actually how he gets back to Odessa, but somehow he gets back to Odessa. He's packing up his bags. He gets on the plane and he says, you know what? I'm really sad about this, but honestly, if I get a message from her, I'm gonna be right back in. And you know, David has the audacity to say that he is disappointed about the lies. He just wants to know what signs he was ignoring. And I'm like, all the signs, every single sign on the road. I feel so bad for him. I actually feel really bad for him. All right, you guys, speaking of somebody dumb, let's move on to Yolanda and her lies. Okay, so lying ass Yolanda is now with her kids, Demonte and Kara, and she's got them both on camera lying, and they've decided just to take a walk in non-quarantine time in the park and talk about the situation with Williams. And Yolanda confides in her children that she has received an update, in fact, a message from a woman named Sweet Beep. Demonte starts to laugh and is like, is that her name? Kara's like, what the hell, is that her name? Yolanda's just like, no, that's not her name, but that's the name that's on her her Instagram. And basically what she told me, what Sweet Beep told me, is that Williams wants to talk to me, but he can't because his data and his phone has been hijacked or something. I don't know, girl, something. She just loves a short haircut with a gigantic earring. And I don't also understand how Yolanda is so put together, but her son looks like he needs some TLC. I have never looked at a man and been like, you need a girlfriend. because he needs somebody to help him with that hair. And he just looking real scraggly on national TV, and his mother's looking actually pretty good. And so DeMonte is like, well, then how is the Williams able to talk to Sweet Pea and the Williams isn't able to talk to you? And Yolanda's like, well, that's a good question. I didn't even think of that. We're like, yeah, Yolanda, we know you don't think, but you did think of this weird ass scam that you're trying to sell us all. So then they decide that they're gonna go on ahead and do a reverse image search on the Williams. The kids see a picture of him and they're like, Mom, this is Williams? And she's like, yeah, he's handsome. And the kids is like, this your type? So her kids do a backwards reverse image search, and I know what they're gonna find, but it cuts off. I just wish that TLC would just stop showing us Yolanda. And they should just cut all the middle and get to the end with Yolanda, because I do not care. It is so fake. Who is producing this segment? What producer is with Yolanda like, yeah, that's really good? No, even introducing this character of Sweeps and then having it beeped out every single time. How do you feel comfortable saying that name to your kids? If my parents were to say the P-U-S-S-Y word to me, I think that I would be so like, well, stop it! It was just so uncomfortable. All right, so the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Tom and Darcy. So Tom decides that he's gonna take his British ass on to Connecticut to see Darcy. So he says that he wants to go talk to her because he didn't like the way things ended, and he wrote her a letter, and he wanted to give her a letter in order to speak on his feelings. So he gets to her house, which is a beautiful house. He doesn't even remark on how beautiful her home is. Stacy opens the door and sees Tom and just like, whatever. And you know, Stacy is dripping in her house 11, okay? Darcy comes to the door and Darcy's just like, what do you want? Tom tries to apologize to her and Darcy's just like, I'm not here for it. No, you've had all this opportunity and time to talk to me and tell me how you feel, and this whole entire time you got a new girlfriend and you moved on, so like continue, moved on, bye. So Tom gets upset and he puts the letter on her car, and then he gets back in his car and goes back to New York City, and he's like, I wasted my time. I came here to tell Darcy I'm sorry, and she doesn't even have the wherewithal to accept my apology. I'm like, you are the one in the wrong. And now that she has the nerve to have a backbone, you're gonna like talk shit about her and say that when she wakes up at 55 cold and alone, it's gonna be her own fault. And when she realizes that this relationship went down because of her. So I'm like, why did you even come to her house? If you really have all this negative shit to say about her as you drive away, why'd you even come to her house then? So your apology was contingent upon how she reacted to your apology? Pause. I can't even take it. Okay? And then Darcy goes in the house and her and her sister are just playing off of each other. Meanwhile, her shirt is just coming down. They have to even blur out the tops of her boobies because we can see them. I'm like, girl, Stacy, tell Darcy her titties is coming out. She got a whole Fashion Nova fit on too. Don't think I didn't peep that Fashion Nova tag. I surely did. When she was unpacking all those new clothes that she's about to rip off and put on House of 11. Girl, Darcy, we know. We've been on your website. We see you got fake designer bags. So that's the end of them. Tom goes home. Darcy feels like she did a good job, and we all think she did a good job too. But like, girl, they've been showing pictures of Darcy when she was young on Instagram, and I think Darcy looks great, but like, she doesn't look like her former self. All right, so the last couple that we're gonna talk about is Ed and Rose. Okay, first of all, I'm Team Rose 100%. Ed is an asshole. Our first scene is them leaving Prince and the little village that she comes from behind, and he wants to take Rose off away from her family so that he could get to know her better. So they decide they're going to take a plane to this island, another island in the Philippines that's a tourist attraction, and it's beautiful. It's probably less mosquitoes. It's hot, but it's on the water, which is like the best kind of humid heat you could get, right? That breeze from off the water is amazing. So it is her first time on an airplane. She's very excited. Their whole like little supposedly cute thing where he's on his phone taking pictures. Ed is so corny and annoying. This is why he needed to be with a 23-year-old who has like the taste of a 14-year-old, because he is so corny and lame that only that type of woman would be interested in him. Ooh-wee, this is your first dinner on the plane. Ha ha ha. Girl, like, shut up, Ed. He just wanted to be this person who like showed her the world, but at the same time, he's like, you're poor, so I want to make sure you're doing this because you love me. Ed, she doesn't love you. She doesn't know you. How can she love you? They wake up the next day and they're in the hotel room and he has surprises for her, and he brings out a teddy, which he wants her to wear, which I'm just like, you are disgusting buying her lingerie. My husband can buy me lingerie. My boyfriend of a year can buy me lingerie, but some guy that I've been talking to over the phone and via Skype for 3 months is not allowed to buy me lingerie because I'm not your sex slave. You're not gonna then decide how I present myself sexually to you because we've been talking for 3 months. I'm not gonna be in a teddy for you to like ogle and touch my body. Anyways, he buys her a bathing suit. And then he's like, and then I got you something else. I got you mouthwash, and I got you a cute toothbrush, and I got you really good toothpaste. And she's looking at him like, and then he's like, because your breath, it's not pretty. And then in a confessional, he's like, yeah, I noticed that when I first saw her in Manila that her breath was awful and I just, I care about her. So I'm like, okay, so while you were there, you decided that you were gonna buy her mouthwash, or you just gave her your mouthwash and your toothpaste because you were just like, look, you need it more than me. And why tell her while they're filming? He could have told her that off camera. The cameras aren't in their hotel room the entire time. This man thought it would be good TV. He thought it would be fun TV to embarrass this girl and tell her that her breath smells and buy her products to clean her breath. And then she says, it's not my mouth. I brush my teeth every day because you fucking see me brush my teeth. It's my ulcer. Because he's trying to say that, when you have bad teeth, it's indicative of your heart and different things in your body, which is true, but she doesn't have bad teeth. He can see she doesn't have bad teeth. He's been making out with her. Didn't they kiss while they were having sex? And she's like, I'm so mad that Ed embarrassed me. I want to punch him. Yeah, girl, we all want to punch him. It was so uncalled for. And he's like, oh, well, you didn't tell me you had an ulcer. You didn't tell me that. So it's her fault that you're rude. If I was with somebody who had bad breath, I would tell them, but I definitely wouldn't tell them on camera because bad breath is I can't. It bleh. When every time you see somebody, their breath smells, it's coming from their belly. And usually they are aware of it. So she goes off into the bathroom and tells him that he's ugly in Tagalog twice. Thank you, girl, for telling the truth. So later that day, they end up going to a monkey reserve. And I mean, the happiest I have ever seen Rose is when she sees him terrified of those monkeys. He is screaming and hiding behind other grown men at this reserve because he doesn't want to be on the trail anymore because he's uncomfortable. The monkey jumps on his back and I'm just like, good for you. And she is so happy that I think she low-key forgives him, and also she has to look at the bigger picture, a better life for her family and for Prince. But that monkey reserve, the editing was so shady. They made it seem like a monkey screaming was actually Ed screaming, and it was hilarious. Oh my God, a phone call.
Because I'm driving.
Okay, well, I'm filming and
I'm ruining your filming? Is that what you're saying?
just saying that you're in it now.
All part of my master plan to get more subscribers.
It would have been better if it was FaceTime then.
I mean, if you think that I will FaceTime you for more subscribers while I'm driving, even though there's a cop around me, you crazy. If Stephanie's going to go on 90 Day and take a whole goddamn season, then I'll FaceTime while I'm driving. You know how many subscribers that got her? Millions!
I'm talking about Rose and Ed right now.
Those monkeys were scared of him, honey. They're like, what is that thing?
All right, let me finish this and I'll call you back.
Okay, I love you.
Love you. Bye.
You look beautiful.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you. Back to our regularly scheduled program, end up having a poolside dinner in which he asks her about Maria and asking of the money. And the camera's trying to make it seem like she knows about it, and she's just shaking her leg and she's real nervous. And she says that she didn't know that Maria asked Ed for money, and Ed said that he believed her. But she's like, I want Ed to propose to me. I want Ed to marry me. So she puts on this really fake smile. At some point she's like, and we're just like, girl, ham it up, girl, because he's so gross sitting next to you. The next day they go to the beach. Then she goes and swims in the ocean, which I'm just like, girl, go in the ocean and get some peace. This is real decadent. I just wanted her to have an amazing time without him. So he calls his homeboy. He tells his homeboy that he's about to propose to Rose, but he can't because he doesn't want to have any more kids, and Rose wants to have 2 more kids with him. And I'm just like, girl, why? And so the friend's like, you got to tell her, you got to be honest. And Ed's like, I don't want to be honest. I don't want to tell her, even though that's what I expect from her is honesty. I don't want to do it because I'm the American and I have the upper hand and I have the money. That's not what happened, but that's exactly what I'm thinking he must be thinking, because why else wouldn't you say something to her? I mean, it's just so disgusting. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought. Let's have a kiki and a conversation down in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share on any social media platforms that you deem fit. Go ahead and check out these videos right here, and I'll see you in my next video. All right, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.